something to say right here. I have something to say, Mr. Mayor. I have something to say. I have something to say.
I'll be glad to stay and have a respectful discussion. And if we have a problem doing that, then we don't have to do that. So if we have something to say that's not being said at the bargaining table that is useful to hear, I will say this again. I will say this again. If we cannot have...
Shut up! I got a question right here. I can keep talking though. I don't need you to tell me to stop talking.
They ruined it. They ruined it.
Quiet down!
If you want to be heard, you need to be quiet. You need to be quiet.
Right. Right here.
Say, please say.
6 months. I'm a custodian, local 287, the ones you're trying to privatize. 6 months before our contract was up, you came to our union meeting and asked us to open our contract for a give back. You asked us to reclassify the engineer job for you. 6 months. I stood at that meeting and I said to you, why would we do that now when our contract's up in 6 months? You looked me and the rest of my fellow custodians in the face and you said, consider it an olive branch. You've taken that olive branch and you snapped it over your knee because you never bargained in good faith. The only negotiation your guys like Mennonite over here gave us was negotiate with the private company. So what happened to the olive branch? That's my question.
I'll say this. You do not do yourselves credit and you do not do the city credit to engage this way. That was not what happened. We are engaged in a collective bargaining process governed by statute that has a binding arbitration phase if we don't reach agreement at the table. I have reached more agreements at the table than any mayor in the state of Connecticut ever with public employee bargaining units. That is a fact. And we are still engaged at the table in genuine discussions with 6 bargaining units at this point in time. So we're, again, I'll say this. You disrespect yourself. So let me explain it again. We are at the table, actively engaged in discussions, and it's my intent to continue. That said, it's also clear what world we're living in now, and that there are people who live here who can't afford a tax increase.
That's right.
And this is us all figuring out how we get through this. That said, I'm committed as we have been at the bargaining table to do this, as I have been for 16 years with our employees.
Mayor,
We were the only bargaining unit in negotiations for a year. You've only had these 6 unions for a couple months now. So what happened to the olive branch was my original question, and that is exactly what happened.
Your leadership at the table knows the guidelines at the table are mutually set by both parties, not just by one. So any place we are right now is a result of where both parties have taken us to. I'll say this again. We're at the table negotiating. There's a reality of the situation we're in right now.
We're in arbitration. We're not at the bargaining table anymore.
You're not at the bargaining table?
We're in arbitration. Somebody else is deciding our fate.
Your leadership hasn't told you we're also having private discussions?
Yes, they have.
Well, then wait a minute. You just said we weren't at the bargaining table. So now you just said it the other way.
Well, why did it take a year and a half for you to step up and get involved?
First you said that there were no negotiations. Now you acknowledge.
No, that's not what I said. I said the negotiation that the city brought forward was negotiate with the private company. Is that correct?
With something that both the city can afford and is fair to employees.
You still haven't answered the original question. What happened to the olive branch?
All the time.
All right.
I understand your concern for your families, and I understand your concern for the residents of the city, but I'll say this again. It makes no sense for the city to enter an agreement you cannot perform on. And we're going to see more and more of that. Thanks so much.